Hello and welcome to Moneynomics with Mint. Joining me today, of course, is my colleague Jash. Jash, how was your 2024?
Yeah. I mean, so for me, obviously, a lot of things
Very
change.
pivotal year.
Yeah. As a new father, but otherwise, yeah, it has been, So it has been a roller coaster in itself. But yeah, as far as uh, markets have gone, and what we are going to be talking about,
Yeah.
that also has been actually a bit of a roller
Yeah.
coaster,
Yeah.
and
So this year, Jash discovered just how expensive it is to have a nanny. His nanny now does sips, and Jash's sips have taken a 20% flat. But coming back to the investments and how markets have moved in 2024, I think the big lesson is that the euphoria has come off.
Yeah. Right.
So if you think of the first half of this year, markets were on absolute tear, both Nifty and mid and small cap. And I was just checking the return for last 6 months on the Nifty, and it's just 1 or 2%. I mean, that whole thing has come off massively with the Federal Reserve hiking rates. And even mid and small caps have mellowed down a bit.
Yeah. So much has happened. I mean, so many changes, and the geopolitical scenario also, and markets kind of have lost direction. If one were to say,
Yeah. So I think from an investor point of view, the big takeaway, as always, is to have a mix of assets, is to have a diversification across assets. Now, apart from the investment changes, a lot of stuff has happened on the regulatory side.
Right.
And, people don't usually factor this into account while they're thinking about their investments or finance. It's like we are playing a cricket match and there is an umpire.
Right.
And the umpire makes decisions. Like it doesn't. The match doesn't just depend on you and the other side.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think a couple of big decisions, and just add to the ones that I'll enumerate. The biggest one is the SEBI clampdown on F&O, futures and options trading, which had just exploded in the past couple of years. It had been, people had embraced trading as a career, as a life, in the droves. And essentially, SEBI did a couple of things. It increased the sizes of the contracts. It got rid of this system of expiries where every day some or the other weekly contract was expiring. And already the effects are visible. The volumes have come off massively. What is the next one that you would say is a big one from SEBI?
Neil, the other one I think is the clampdown on the SME IPOs, because that also had become kind of a
casino,
and everybody was looking to make
a quick buck. Absolutely.
So that
and this came in SEBI's recent board decision only. The third one I would say comes from RBI stable. So there was a big push towards P2P lending in the past couple of years. And RBI suddenly came out with a whole bunch of new regulations on P2P. Essentially, the industry had been a bit creative around interpreting it, and they had created instant withdrawals and a whole system where people were, a lot of distributors, etc., were selling P2P lending to their clients, and they were taking in big commissions. So all that has abruptly come to an end.
Yeah, Neil, and also obviously, you speaking about, there is an empire, again, people got carried away with crypto. Now that is going to be heavily taxed.
Yeah, so actually crypto is the other way around. That crypto taxation has been around for the past 2 years. But after the election of Donald Trump and the phenomenal rise of Bitcoin, it's now well past $100,000. A lot of Indians are again turning their attention to it. And the only thing that we would like to caution is remember the taxation, which is 30%. You can't set it off against other gains. You can't even set it off against other crypto trades. And you also have to report it in a separate schedule called Schedule VDA, Virtual Digital Asset. And you can't be missing, like if you forget to report these things, you would have to deal with a lot of notices and a lot of income tax issues.
Penalties.
So be really careful before jumping into crypto. We don't know where this is headed. So all of these are sort of slightly on the regulatory clampdown side. Now there's also been a very positive development from SEBI's stable, which is the reforms to the RIA, or Registered Investment Advisor profession. this is something that we had argued for strongly in Mint, and of course I had served on the working group that gave recommendations for this. Because India just has too few investment advisors. It's just 900 active investment advisors.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just 1,000 on paper, but active would be far less.
Yeah. Correct. And so, just to spell out a couple of the key reforms that have been enacted. So, for example, earlier there was a requirement of post graduation and 5 years of work ex to be an RIA, plus clearing the NISM 10A 10B exam. Now you can also be a graduate. You don't have to be postgraduate, and it can be in specific subjects for finance, economics, accountancy, etc. It has to be in those subjects. You can't be graduate in just about anything.
Right.
And you still have to pass the exam, but they've taken away that experience requirement.
Right.
And they brought it down slightly from postgrad to grad. If you want to be a PAI or a person associated with investment advice, which is like an assistant to an RIA, again you have to just be a grad in any subject.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. You can be.
That is open.
That is now open to people who have marketing degrees or science, chemistry, anything.
Right.
Which will create a supply of talent, a pool of people who have done something else, but now they're really interested in finance as a profession.
A lot of people are like that who are in completely different stream and then.
Yeah. The other key reform is on the net worth. So in case of RIAs, there was something called corporate RIA, which is there's individual RIA which you can do as a person, and a corporate RIA which is done through an entity.
Right.
So that had a net worth of 50 lakhs earlier.
Okay.
This has been abolished and replaced by just a requirement of a deposit. You have to create a deposit with the self-regulatory agency of 10 lakhs. So again, very manageable. Lots of small people will be able to corporatize essentially.
Yeah.
And the big benefit of this is that if you have a corporate RIA, then you can be simultaneously a distributor and an advisor. So long as you maintain what is called client level segregation, that you're not selling commission-based products or other commission-based mutual funds to the same client to whom you're advising.
Right.
You can have different clients, some of whom are being advised,
Got it.
some of whom are being distributed.
Right.
And this is for SEBI regulated products. So if you're actually distributing non-SEBI products like FDs or credit cards, then actually this entirely goes away. SEBI has clarified that even RIAs can distribute non-SEBI products, no problem. And that's a big freeing up of the profession.
Right. Yeah, I think clarifications always help.
Yeah.
And RIAs are needed. I mean, in a country like India,
massively.
They are highly understaffed. That.
Yeah. So that's one big thing to look forward to in 2025. As far as market predictions go, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into the business of predicting where markets will go or how they will do.
Right.
Clearly, with events in the US and Trump's election, things are going to be volatile.
Right.
And with things like AI making waves, things look kind of scary often. But as long as you keep your basic long-term horizon in mind, your asset allocation in place, I think there is nothing to fear. The time-tested rules of finance very much are going to still apply.
Absolutely.
And if you are afraid, if you are unsure, if you need help, there are more SEBI-registered investment advisors or RIAs.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Jash, Happy New Year.
Great. Happy New
Look
Year.
forward to a fantastic 2025.
Absolutely. Thanks.